4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. So I'm Zach Reeves, retired Marine Corps Gunnery Sergeant. Happy belated birthday to all the Marines out there yesterday. Happy Veterans Day to everybody today. I did a bunch of time on active duty, a lot of tours overseas, Marine Security Guard duty, a bunch of the cool stuff. And then War on Terror started, and it was not so much the cool stuff anymore. So I'm very active with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, anything that has to do with veteran suicide. Currently, I hold a post as the chaplain at my local American Veterans Post. I'm the co-creator of Texas Ruck Fest, which is all about stopping soldier suicide, the 22 a day. I'm just very active in whatever community I live in. I started Texas Ruck Fest in Central Texas. I've since moved to Central Florida, where I'm creating a program called Lake Jackson Vet Fest. And I can go into that, with any questions anybody has about what that's going to be. So that's who I am, just Zach. Everybody knows me as Gunny.
Gunny, thank you. Pleasure, Gunny. Welcome. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go Legion. Hey, who's this next guy up? Who's this special guest with us today?
I don't know about special, but I'm Chris Best. I go by Biker Dad on all the social media stuff. You see my handle there on the screen. But I spent 25 years doing television news and quit my job during COVID to ride motorcycles and tell stories for a living. So I do a TV show that airs in about 12 cities across the country, and also post it all on my Facebook and YouTube channels as well. Basically, I go around and tell the stories of people who use motorcycles to do things to make their communities stronger, safer, and better. A lot of that has to do with veterans. People watching this probably know, but if you see a group of 5 or 6 motorcycles or more going down the road, chances are that some of them are veterans, and more than likely they're on their way to do something good for somebody. And so that's what I kind of tell. I create content to tell the story, evangelize about what bikers are doing across the country. And veterans are a big part of that. And veteran suicide is a cause that's really close to my heart too. I don't know if you can see it, but I have this I got your 6 tattoo on my arm. During COVID, the height of COVID, my oldest friend, had been my friend since I moved to Missouri from Seattle in high school, took his own life during COVID. He was an Army veteran. He wasn't a combat veteran, but as you guys know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously PTSD is a huge issue, but if you're in the military or you serve, you're about, I think it's 4 times more likely to be a victim of suicide than the average population, whether you were in combat or not. So it's a big cause that's close to my heart. Thanks for everybody who did serve. I didn't. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service. And a lot of stuff going on across the country today, as it rightfully should be.
Yeah, well, we're riding for 22 here every day. That's our cause here at U.S. Military Veteran Suicide Prevention. I'm the host, Rob Lason, everybody watching. And today is a very, very special day for all veterans. We thank all veterans out there who served, and we appreciate you guys. And we just want to get together today to honor all the veterans out there today, because this is your day. This is for all veterans who served, and we appreciate you. We honor you. And today we're just gonna kind of kick it with me and Zach and Biker Dad, and just kind of have some fun today and honor everybody. If anybody has any questions, email us, message us. We can get back and answer your questions. And again, we just thank you for your service. It really truly means a lot to us. Anybody out there who knows somebody who's been in the military, thank them. And today, and just say thank you. Thank you for being a veteran. Thank you for serving our country. And, see what they need. Help them out. Hold the door open for them, or let them cut in front of you in the line or something. Or let them get a free meal. I know there's a lot of free meals on Veterans Day going on, huh?
Pay it forward. Hey, Rob, thank you for your service too, by the way, and your father's.
Yeah, my dad, he's a Navy veteran. God bless my dad. And he led me in the right direction, man. And thank you for thanking me. And I'm thanking you for yours too. Yeah, but my dad, he was a Navy veteran. My dad would really appreciate it. Thank you, Zach.
No problem. And here in my little studio here with me, I've got another fellow Marine, retired Master Sergeant. Everybody's heard of HMX-1. Well, this guy was on the HMX-1 crew. So he's a good cat. He's not going to be on TV, but he's here with me. HMX-1, by the way, is the one that flies the president around. As you can see behind me here, let's see which way do I got to move. So I sign up there, says, welcome to Jack's. Jack's,
yeah, God bless, man. God bless all veterans. Hey, so you said you're a pastor?
I am I'm the local chaplain at one of my veteran facilities. I've been a chaplain just about every place I've ever gone.
Right.
What that includes is going to the veteran service centers, delivering the kind of news that nobody wants to hear, being there with the family, conducting the prayers at the meetings.
Yeah, nice. Prayers, yeah, real nice.
Everything to be a man of God. I think we lost Rob for a minute.
Well, hopefully he'll come back.
I don't know. He might already be fed up with us, Biker Dad.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a veteran. I have a lot of veterans in my family. I come from a long line of people who didn't go to college. I was the first one in my family on either side to go to college. So, and a lot of people were in the military. So it was more important to my family for me to do that. But it is actually one of the things that I kind of regret in life having done, because you can definitely do both. My son is a Navy recruiter right now in Anniston, Alabama. I mean, not my son, my nephew, Tyler Best. So my other nephew, Zachary Best, served in the Marines. He's out now. My uncle was a Marine in Vietnam, and he actually earned the Navy Cross in Vietnam, something he didn't talk about much, but I learned the story really after he died. But he was in one of those places they weren't supposed to be. He was a tank commander. He was like a teenager, early 20s tank commander. The whole group of tanks got blown up by Viet Cong, and he was really the only one not injured at first. There were 3 tanks that were disabled. And he, this is a 19, 20, 21-year-old guy, had to fight off 300 Viet Cong by himself while he was under fire. He was going, and when he ran out of ammo, he went and grabbed the guns of the other Marines who were down and fought off 300 Viet Cong while he dragged all these guys to safety. And he got the Navy Cross for that because, he would have got the Medal of Honor, but they were apparently in some place they weren't supposed to be. His name was Charles Thatcher, and he was really badass. And it's kind of a funny but sad story at the same time. So he did end up getting some kind of injury in that fight. He got a Purple Heart for that. I think he had 3 Purple Hearts altogether. He got stabbed in another fight and something else. I'm not sure, but so he survived that. He came home. The late 70s, early 80s, I remember he was the coolest guy in the world. He looked like Tom Selleck. He had one of those cool vans with a picture of the horses painted on the side of it. He was literally a gunslinger. He did quick draw competitions. He was a skilled horse rider. He rode Harley Davidsons. So he was kicked in the face by one of his horses, survived that. Was in a really bad motorcycle crash, survived that. He'd survived everything in Vietnam. And he died at his kitchen table drinking a Mountain Dew because he forgot to take his heart medicine. So, again, that's just kind of ironic, but it also just is a reminder, like, to check on those people and make sure they are taking care of themselves mentally, physically, whatever. And, like I said, he was a hero. He was a stud. He was the coolest person I ever knew, but he would never talk about this stuff. And I know a lot of people do talk about their service, but there are plenty of people who want to, kind of push it down, and it's not really that good for them. So check on them. They don't need to tell you their story every time you talk to them, but just make sure they're doing okay. And that's the thing about my friend Chris, who committed suicide during the height of COVID. he was like the happiest, most arrogant person I ever met. And I say that in a nice way. One of the reasons I got married to my wife is because he was such an arrogant jerk. And we were having one of those friend moments where we're fighting each other. He was making fun of my sister or something. I said, you know what? I'm going to kick your ass right here. I'm going to make you a grease spot in this driveway. And my wife saw that and she thought it was cool. She liked the fiery redhead sticking up for herself. That's why we're together to this day. But he's the last guy that I would have thought would do that. So he had some problems with his marriage. He was isolated by himself during COVID, and it just got to him. They found self-help books in his office. He was trying to take care, trying to do self-therapy, I guess, but it didn't work. And I feel bad. I should have checked on him more often. In fact, I was actually on my way back home to Missouri to see him and my other friends from high school when I learned about what happened. So,
that's one of the saddest things about it. One of our group of friends before, I'm not going to say it's a pandemic like COVID is, but once somebody feels that they can no longer do it, then somebody else sees that they can no longer live life, then it kind of becomes contagious. And people start to see the kind of response that the families are getting from the loved one that did commit suicide. You don't know how deep it goes. We've always said it's the short-term solution to a long-term problem, or long-term solution to a short-term problem, whichever way you want to look at it. Either way, it's bad. It's caught on to the point where it's almost popular now, and that's where we need to shake it from everybody. And that's, again, like what's important about today is being there for everybody. Like Rob said, just say thank you. Make sure they know you're out there. There was that little fad where everybody's like, oh, don't thank me for my service. I did it. It was my job. That's bullshit. We all want to be recognized for doing something, whether it not be opening the door, paying it forward at McDonald's. That recognition needs to be out there for somebody. So it's very important to say thank you, because you don't see the wounds that are on the inside. I can show you the scars and everything like that, but you don't know what's going on in my head. And that's why it's just important to be there and listen to everybody. So thank you for those stories, though, Biker Dad. That was awesome.
It's also important if you are a veteran or somebody dealing with this too. And I hate to say it like this because it's kind of harsh, but committing suicide is effing selfish. If you're not gonna stay around and take a pause for yourself, think about your family, because what you're doing is, again, I'm being harsh here, but you're taking the easy way out, and you're leaving behind wreckage and turmoil that you don't even understand. Not just with my friend Chris, but I've had family members who've taken their own lives too, and just what it does to other people. It's not worth it. And if you're a religious person too, because I've struggled with depression and stuff in my life, and one of the reasons I'm still here is that I believe there's a heaven and a hell, and what we deal with on this planet in this dimension right now, is very minor compared to what the reward is.
It does replicate itself. If you do believe in heaven and hell, it does replicate itself how you leave this earth. There's no doubt about that. I will take one swing on that, and you are right. It is selfish, but also, as a person who's been around it and been to a lot of funerals, both because of war and because of suicide. My best friend from high school, he was an Army major, artillery officer, lots of damage. That's from a year ago. Lots of damage to his noggin. Just sitting behind that cannon cocker and everything like that, not only from just the residual of that, but he got in his head and couldn't get out of it. And he drank himself to death. And I also had a best friend that shot himself. I also have a best friend that drowned himself. I also have a buddy that did the whole pill thing. I understand that it is selfish, but I also want everybody to be aware that in their darkest moments, they cannot see the light at the end. And that's why we need to be there to support them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not a shame thing. The thing is that when you are to that point that you don't care about yourself, and that you don't care about your own life, or you do care about it to the point where you just think it's too much. If you can't in your head rectify it for yourself, think of your family and your friends and what you're doing to them is my only point to bring that up.
Right.
Is because you know, as somebody who's dealt with depression in my own life, to know that, you know, the reasons that have kept me around and paused me are those things. Are, you know, I have leaving what you might do to your family, and just the internal consequences of what you do too. Just those are the two things that kind of give me a pause. And you know, it's just something that I think that people should stop and think about as well.
I 100% could not agree more. But just looking at it from that person who's about to exit this planet's frame of thought, you're strong enough to see it. I've made it through my dark days. There's still some in front of me, but I want everybody to know that they're not perpetual. They will get better. But just be there for that person's family that it does happen to, because if they couldn't be there for them, then they need you to be there in their place. So be mindful of what it does to the families on the back.
And there are a lot of reasons that people do these things. And, you know, some of it, like you said, you know, it can be a physical injury that causes a chemical imbalance in your brain. You have no control over that. It's not like you don't have willpower. There's something that's wired in your brain wrong now. And that happens with all kinds of things. If you have a brain injury, especially, you know, there's all kinds of consequences to that.
If your frontal cortex is not firing, you're going to be in trouble. There's no doubt about that. And I
don't bring it up to shame people. And I think that's one of the, you know, I brought up religion. That's one of the failures of some religions is that that's what happens, and they refuse to give people the burials that are for their faith and things like that. When they do that, you know, that to me is a little shameful as well. But it's not about shaming them. It's about just, hey, stop and think about the other people who it affects.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And that brings up my next point about TBI. Having been in an IED blast where your head actually, your brain actually impacts either the back or the front of your skull from compression and decompression, I had a hard time understanding what the hell was going wrong with me. And finally, with some good medical care, the doctor basically said, here's the thing, man, you can't drink whiskey. You can drink all the beer you want in the world, but you just can't drink whiskey, because that sugar makes your brain swell and it pushes on the front of your head, and you might be walking and talking, but you blacked out. And I would have moments where the depression, I just couldn't control it. And there are some actual physical reasons why people do get into their head, literally in their head, and they can't get out. And a lot of it has to do to the things that we do to our body to help cope with stress. So if you're feeling that way, just be mindful of it and reach out and talk to somebody who probably has the same problem. And don't be afraid to go to the damn doctor. I mean, I hear all these complaints about the VA this and the VA that. Well, do your footwork and get there. And I'm not being harsh to anybody. I'm just saying, if you walk the process, it does work.
Yeah, and there are a lot of groups out there besides the VA who are out there to help, like the groups you're talking about. There's a Tribe of One in Texas now. It used to be called 22 Kills. They changed their name so they could go into schools, because the schools didn't like that name. Here in Alabama, just down the road from me, my friend Carrie Watley runs an equine therapy group, and a big focus of that is using horses to treat PTSD, and having to walk through it as just an example, and did a video of that. It's very effective. You know, there are a lot of people don't think that there's help out there, and they think that it's going to cost them too much. There's a lot of people who are doing work every day for free. So if you can reach out to people like us to find those groups, if you need it, or, you know, just even Google equine therapy in my area. Most of them treat veterans for free, and it's incredibly effective, and you're not using drugs, and you're not sitting in a room talking to a shrink. That I highly recommend anybody who has access to a horse therapy group in their area to go try it. I'm not anywhere near the level of PTSD and stuff that our veterans are, but just spending an hour walking this horse, and the horse is kind of the horses here are being rescued too. They're kind of broke down. So walking with this horse, Tiffany, who's kind of, you know, past her prime, and what they do is they feed off your energy, and they feel your energy, feed back their own energy, which brings you comfort and balance and all these other things. And you'd be shocked if you haven't done it, how standing next to a horse for an hour can really change your mindset.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you know what? Animals, that goes along with the line of a companion dog, a service dog. Yeah. You know, being around animals in general, I can believe it. Being around a horse can be like a special a time where you can kind of, you know, become one with the horse, you know, and have that moment with that horse that can probably uplift your heart and your spirit, you know, being around another animal and stuff. Because even just being around dogs, you know, because having a companion dog for a lot of veterans. Any veterans out there who are feeling the little bit of loneliness, go get a dog. Go get a dog. Go do this horse therapy. Get some kind of animal in your life, and be around some other things besides yourself, because that's probably the number one reason for suicide is loneliness.
Yeah, check out War Dogs Charity Riders in Chicago. When you're speaking of dogs, what they do, their entire mission, they do 4 or 5 rides a year to raise money to not only provide a therapy dog for a veteran or a first responder, but they pay for the training. And so they match these guys up with a specific dog. And the training costs like $15,000 or $20,000, and they do it all for free. And I've seen that work. War Dogs Charity Group in Chicago, Illinois. One of the people who sponsors my television show called Motorcycle Safety Lawyers partners with them and supports them as well. So, yeah, and that's not the only group out there doing that either. So, you know, just Google it or message me, and I can help you find any of those things.
Yeah, I want to send you a message on that, because I know a couple people looking for some dogs right now. They'd like to get a service dog if possible.
Awesome. Well, we have a great service here in Central Florida called Paws of Honor. It's actually a nationwide deal, but we actually train them here outside of Lake Placid, Florida. Same thing with you, Mike. We have equine therapy down here. We've got hunts. I know a lot of veterans don't. I don't even use really a gun anymore, just for protection. But I picked up archery, which is really big. Get out there, do some bow fishing. Do some archery, just the peace and quiet of actually having to stalk an animal. Hunting helps some people. But again, you know, there's so many groups out there. Just like you said, we have the equine therapy. We have Operation Yellowbird, which is a huge one, gaining some traction all over Central Texas and Northeast Texas. IW, I think everybody's heard of IW. The crew over there, Donnie O'Malley, Cindy McNally, a bunch of people at IW. You can reach out to pretty much anybody in a city that you live in the United States, Puerto Rico now, and get involved with all kinds of stuff. There's plenty of people out there that we need to be involved with for our own mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually watching this podcast helps too. You get some good comedy out of it from time to time.
Yeah. You know what? It gets your mind off things, you know, and not only that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw up the banner. We have the 988 number for the podcast. If anybody knows somebody who's feeling suicidal, they can call that number right there at the bottom. It's 988, and they can reach out and get a helping hand and stuff like that. But that's the number for the Veterans Crisis Line. Yep. Yeah, you can get some good comedy here normally. What are you drinking on, Zach? What is that?
Well, I got in here. I got a little Natural Light. And then
it's in the camo. You got your cans all.
And I had to give up whiskey, so in my bullet bourbon right here, I got a little ice water.
Hey, look, your can's camoed out. I don't know what's in your can.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have it on there.
I can see you, but I can't see the can.
That's good. That's why I wore this nice. That's why I wore this nice little patriotic thing for Veterans Day today. And I want to just give a shout out. There's a lot of stuff going on around your communities today and everything like that. So get out and get involved. We have a flag raising at my post here in Sebring, Florida. Flag raising and a meal for the veterans at noon. So that's a big deal. We try to do every holiday that we can to get people involved. I moved to a retirement community because my mom's getting a little older and my son's getting really good football education down here, about to get off to college. So I chose to move out of the suburban life and get into the rural country Everglade life here in small town Florida. So it's really nice to give back to a community, and my mom and dad both being veterans. It's very important. Today's especially important to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in our area too. This morning at the USS Alabama, they got the battleship retired and out parked on the Mobile Bay here. They had a flag raising ceremony this morning. Tonight at the American Legion Post in Fairhope, Alabama. You guys got to look that up because it's pretty insane. The coolest American Legion Post on the planet. I guarantee it. It's in an old mansion right on the bay. They have their own pier and a tiki bar. They have concerts there, so they have a stage there. And this band called Wet Willie is playing tonight. And what they're doing with that is they're helping veterans, but the historic Legion Post was actually smacked by Hurricane Sally and almost destroyed. So everything they do, they're raising money to rebuild their Legion Post and try to restore that historic building. And it's just a really cool place. It's a great, speaking of Natty Light, it's a great place for a good beer buzz and some good music. So
yeah.
If you're in South Alabama or Mississippi or Florida, come and support them tonight. I plan on being there. And also a shout out to Mobile Bay Harley Davidson in Mobile. They are doing a Veterans Appreciation event tomorrow from noon to 3. So again, if you're in the area, come by. I'll probably be over there for a while tomorrow and say hi to us. And just tons of stuff. The Blue Angels are doing their homecoming show this weekend. If you guys don't know, the Blue Angels are based in Pensacola, Florida, which I'm about 30 miles west of there in Alabama. And 200,000 people out there will be watching the Blue Angels saluting our veterans this weekend too. So that's always really cool.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
No, go ahead, my brother.
Just saying, Central Texas, Round Rock Post American Legion, Post 69 is having, Post 447 is having a lot going on there. Veterans Day celebration. They had a big Marine Corps birthday ball last night. Here, American Legion Post 69, AMVETS Post 25, Post 21, American Legion Post 25, VFW Post 4300, just kind of like what you're saying, Mike. Up there in Alabama, we have some down here too. It's right on the lake, huge bay windows, gorgeous view, long dock. We got hit by Hurricane Ian, pretty bad. So lots of rebuilding going on, but still a great view. Lots of good places to go, and we're not just plugging our places. We're plugging everybody's places. Just get out to a veterans facility nearby and be with like-minded people, and again, just say thanks, man. Especially to those older guys that are going away. They're not dying because of suicide. They're just dying, and they live good lives, and they need our respect as well. They paved the way for all of us.
Yeah, a lot of people watching this, I'm sure, are aware, but yeah, it's not like you got to be an American Legion member to go to a post and buy a veteran a beer. In fact, when you go to one of those posts and spend your money, you're helping their cause continue. So you can go to the bar down the road or go to Applebee's and drink your Brutus, or you can go to an American Legion post, have a beer with them, buy some food and support them and keep their cause going. A lot of the Legions run on the money that they make at those bars and selling food. So anytime you go there and have a good time and buy a brother a beer, you're supporting the veterans. So keep that in mind.
It's very true. Very true. And it's awesome. It's awesome to hear that from you. Obviously, you can with your family, and you can be a member of the Sons and the auxiliary and everything like that. But I really enjoy when somebody just walks in off the street and just says, "Hey, I was swinging by and I just like to buy, everybody sitting around the bar a beer, and it may only cost you 10 or 12 bucks if there's only 5 people in there, but at least it's somebody acknowledging the fact that they could have gone to some gourmet place and had a $20 burger and spent $15 on a cocktail, or you can come to a local post. Like I cook burgers on Thursday. You can come to a local post and buy the bar around and have a burger for $25, and you'll touch more people than you know. And by the way, Zach's Burger is the best burger in Florida, and I'll go up toe to toe against anybody in the nation.
I want two of Zach's famous burgers.
Well, come on down here. You got a long travel though.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, get out, support your local Legion. Go get sit down. Not only enjoy the food, but get to hear some of these old war stories, man. From some of these older guys out there, man, because they've seen some stuff and been around some stuff that you won't even see in the movies, and stuff you really couldn't believe. And you get to hear it from a true veteran who's been there.
That's very true. That's very true, Rob. Just the kind of story that you were offline for a little bit, but the one that Biker Dad was telling about, his uncle in Vietnam, Navy Cross, no joke, man. Not only the vetting that you got to go through to get it after the fact, but just the heroics that you do during the event. My dad, very high-ranking Army officer, never really talked about Vietnam when I was growing up. In fact, we didn't really have a relationship until after I got home from Somalia. And that's when he started sharing a little bit more and more. He had a stroke in 2004, right after I came home from the initial push across the Iraqi border. And he was prepared to share more and more stuff that had happened to him in early and late Vietnam. He did several tours across the whole 9 years of the war at different ranks and different different jobs that he had. But he wanted to tell me so much more, I could tell. But that stroke in 2004 really kind of shook him up, so he couldn't share those stories anymore. So I encourage you to go listen to whoever will talk to you. It may take just a little bit of kindness to get out and just let yourself open up to that veteran, or you yourself open up and share a story. And that could just open up any world of things that could happen. So it's important for everybody to talk about it. I know that I held some stuff in for a long time. I acted out. I went about it the wrong way. My wife couldn't handle it. My young son didn't know when I was coming home. It takes a while to work through all that stuff, but there's some really good stories out there that, yeah, there's a movie every now and then on in the movie theaters, or comes across on your Netflix channel or something. There's a couple really good ones out there, but there's so many stories that are untold. And I bet you have one in your hometown that if you just took a minute to listen, you'd be surprised. That's my
absolutely no, right? You got a lot of hometown heroes sitting, that you can hear some really amazing stories, especially on Veterans Day. Today's the day to get out there, go meet a couple of veterans, sit down, have some lunch with them, get to hear a story, and thank them.
Yeah.
This is their day. This is they should have all year, but they get one day, Veterans Day.
Well, I put that on my page this morning, and I just said, just make sure you say thank you. I mean, today is the day where you're going to see every 75, 80-year-old, 90-year-old man wearing a hat that says what ship he served on, or that he's a Vietnam or Korea War veteran. We don't have many World War II veterans left, but even the younger guys that are now sporting their campaign hats from Afghanistan and Iraq, or you notice a tattoo, you notice a shirt they're wearing, just say thank you. It could literally change their entire mental mindset. And everybody needs a reset on their mind every now and then.
Yeah, you got to hit that reset, man. I hit that thing a couple of times a day, or a couple of times a week if I need to. Yeah.
That's why, going back, that's why I created Jack's Bar. It's just a place that's open 24/7. I got couches, I got recliners, I got everything that you can imagine. You come over at 3:00 in the morning, I'll make you breakfast. You come over at 11 o'clock at night, I'll make you a coffee, whatever you need. happy to do it. Happy to do it. I think we lost Biker Dad for a minute.
Yeah. Hey, he's pretty gnarly, huh? Biker Dad?
Yeah, man, that's a great thing. I might have to start watching that TV show. I might have to Google it and see if I can't find it.
Yeah, he's all over the YouTube and stuff. YouTube and
I'm not a real digital media guy. Social. I mean, I have Facebook and Twitter, but that's mainly to keep in contact with a lot of people. And I've got quite a few followers and friends on Facebook, but it's mainly to reach out and spread the veteran message. And then on Twitter, it's just to keep up with my son and all his football stuff. So I might have to re-engage. I know young lady actually just approached me about doing my own podcast, and I went into the research and found out what I'd have to do to have my own studio and set up everything kind of like you got it, and be available to get out on a network program. I think you're using a thing on Facebook or whatever, but I commend you for what you're doing to try to spread the word, man. And I might have to do something more, more widely based. I try to help out the community. We do a flag thing at all the elementary schools, teach the kids about the flags and all that stuff. But
well,
I think
we can go live. We can go live whenever you want, man. We can do a weekly thing if you want.
Man, I'd love to talk to you about that offline and see what we can't do and get involved if that's something you'd be willing to do.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We could have the Zach and Rob podcast weekly. We'll do the Red Friday podcast with Zach and Rob.
I like your idea, man. And I can just like you, we can get a bunch of veteran people out there to speak the word and get the causes out there. I'd love to have, I'd love to get Donnie O'Malley and some of the Vet TV guys on here and Matt Best and the Black Rifle team and all that. And Black Rifle Coffee, bunch of stuff that I know in one of the biggest veteran states we have. Well, two of them, now I cross between Florida and Texas. It's a big network to reach out to, man. Huge network.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. So you were doing your thing in Texas. Now you're down in Florida. So what's that like?
Well, like I said, it's I've been coming here since my parents moved part-time in 92. So I've been coming here for 30 years, but finally made the commitment to move here in March of 2020 or March of 2021. COVID was getting so bad in Texas. Even though politicians were trying to do what they could, the kids had been out of school. My kid is a very social kid. He couldn't learn at home. We had the big storm in Florida or in Texas in February. The house skyrocketed. So we decided to flip the script and move to Florida to be with my mom. And like I said, the high school football coach reached out to my son and said, "Hey, come play for us down here."
What? How? Yeah. So tell me about your kid. What kind of football? What's he playing?
He's a quarterback at our local high school, Sebring High School. They have a playoff. It was supposed to be tonight, but their playoff game got moved to tomorrow because of the hurricane. We finished his first year. We finished top 4 in the state. The Final Four for the state championship, and this year we're back in the playoffs. He's a good kid, dual threat quarterback. Just loves it down here. Absolutely loves being here. We live on a lake, so he gets to take the jet ski out. Truly blessed. We're truly blessed. I have to start with that. We're not, wealthy by any means, but cost of living down here is not too bad. Bought him a jet ski, get him out there, kind of reward him for all the hard work he puts in. He'll be going off to college in May. So just, really, really cool stuff, man. And it really helps the heart. And when he graduates high school, it's going to help me get out and beat the drum a little bit more about helping the veterans and everybody recover from all our internal wounds that nobody sees. Right. So as far as moving to Central Florida, I mean, it's still hot, but it's like humid hot all the time. In Texas, right. You always hear the dry heat and everything like that, but it's just hot here. That's all there is to it. It's just hot. But let me talk a little bit about what I want to kick off with. Again, Texas Ruck Fest, we created Gumicinda De La Rosa, Damon Fogel, and myself. And then we added a couple other people along the way. One big contributor, Eric Munoz, still beats the drum in Eastern Texas, in Centerville, Texas, with Ruck Fest. And that's a 22-mile hike to commemorate the 22 a day. It's a hard road. It's not a fun hike. It's to put your body through some stuff that you need to remind yourself why you're here and you're living the good life, because those aren't. So our motto was, we walk because they can't. And that simply means that they're no longer here to walk, and we walk in their honor. So we walk because they can't. Here in Central Florida, we have a lake that we live on called Lake Jackson, and it's exactly 11 miles around. There's a walking path all the way around it. So 2 laps would be the 22 miles. I'm going to encourage more of a relay thing, because it does go on to kind of a state highway. I don't want a lot of people out there doing that. But more importantly, in the middle of the lake, we're going to host a concert. We're going to host a concert on Memorial Day in the middle of the lake. So we'll have a pontoon boat out there with live music, live artists. And then if you ever been to Lake Havasu, where everybody ties the boats up together. We're just going to tie the boats up, and everybody can just do a boat walk or sit on your boat and just listen to music and have fun. So we got a lot of work to do with the county commissioners, Florida Wildlife, and everything to put that together. But I want to kick that off in May of 24. That's how much planning it's going to take. We might have something small in May of 23, but May of 24 is going to be our full-on blowout. And I'd like to get everybody involved, all the organizations we talked about, IW, Yellowbird, Ruckfest, 22 Kill, which did change its name. I Got Your Six. We have a really good one in Texas that does a lot of good work for everybody. Really good event. I'd like to bring a bunch of that stuff out here and just try to get everybody nationwide involved in what should be a nationwide project, which is taking care of veterans after they serve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a everyday thing, taking care of veterans, man. And I support you, man. I say let's do it, man. That sounds like a thing to do. I might have to come down to Florida for that.
Well, hey, man. I mean, bring it down, and but I'm serious, man, about this podcast. Let's jump on and see what we can't get going. You've already got a good platform, and let's see what we can't do to spread the message.
Yeah, let's help save as many lives as possible. You know, if we can save one veteran's life from watching this, then we did our job. You know, that's what it's about. When you can save someone's life. So saving lives, that's what we're doing.
Saving lives
24/7
with the word of the mouth.
Even at 3 a.m. come get you a burger and we'll save your life.
Get you a burger, bacon sandwich. I mean, Jack's Bar, it's I pay the electric bill and it does raise the electric bill keeping it open 24/7. But what's a couple extra dollars if it's going to save a life? That's kind of where I stand on that one. But
you need to make sure you got some. How do you? We need to have free Uber rides for veterans or you know what? We need to have a car available to go drive around the city picking up the veterans and getting them free rides over to Jack's.
So that would be great if I lived in the city. So here's the thing. This is awesome, man. This is great. So in Round Rock, which it's not small, but it's smaller, but it's right outside of Austin, Texas. So you got Austin, Cedar Park, Leander, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Hutto, all these places. You could hail an Uber and it could take you anywhere for less than $30 and probably be where you hailed it from in 2 or 3 minutes. In Highlands County, Florida, we have 2 Uber drivers, 2. And you may wait an hour to see them. They got to get up, get dressed, log in, do their thing and all that. And you get to know them pretty well. If you need the Uber driver in Highlands County, you're doing pretty good if you can get a hold of them. But
Yeah.
So it is a county. It's a fairly large county, but it's a great place to be, man. Lake Jackson, it's Sebring, Florida, but Lake Jackson in Sebring, Florida is heaven on earth, man. It's a great recreational lake. It's a great fishing lake. Just a great place to put your kayak in, put lines in the water, put your fishing boat in. Just a cool place, man. It's just a cool place. It's really laid back. It's a small town, but we are a what's called a snowbird city. So in probably May through October, our population is maybe 4,500. Come November through April, we're probably close to 50,000. So that increases by a bunch, but it's a great destination to be.
Yeah, that's definitely the spot, Florida. I'd love to come down to Florida any day of the week. I'd love to be down there and enjoying the weather.
Well, you're welcome to come, man. You're welcome to come. Ditch the snow boots and come on down with flip flops.
Yeah, my tank top and flip flops with my little towel.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, I got to bounce, man. I got to get ready for this, for our ceremony and everything like that.
I'm going to close this out in prayer real fast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, dear Father, we just ask you to bless all the veterans out there on Veterans Day, to make sure they have a good Veterans Day. They have a good meal, a good place to stay around some other veterans and some other family members. And just take care of them today, Lord, and be there for them and uplift their spirits. And amen.
Amen. Thank you for everything you do, Rob. And let's get together, man. And let's do this.
All right, Zach. Hey, I salute you, brother.
Right on.
Thank you.
Hey, text me your address so I can send you this this badass brand new American Legion hat that I got just for you.
Okay. I will, brother. Right after this.
Bro.
Thank you. All right.
Be good.
All right, bro.